What's up guys, this is Wenzes. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about personal development for INFJs and how to create an epic life on your terms. Today we're talking about starting an INFJ business. And with that, I don't mean necessarily a business within the INFJ world, but I mean a business or an occupation that is in alignment with being an INFJ. All of those qualities that we all seek, although we're so different, in a lot of ways they are the same. And this is what I want to talk to you about. I have learned over the years what it takes in order for things to firstly work out, but second of all, for them to be in a way that makes sense to you as an INFJ. Because yes, there's a blueprint of how to have a business or how to be a freelancer or create something or have a career, but it's never really from an INFJ perspective. And today we're gonna tackle exactly that because 85% of the people that work with me really want this, so I'm sure there's so many of you who want this as well. Before we get started, if you want my help in creating that INFJ occupation for yourself or starting an INFJ business, or you want any other help from me, then work with me privately. All the information you find below, and join the INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp waitlist. The bootcamp starts soon, so make sure not to miss out. So what is an INFJ business when we talk about from a perspective of this makes sense to an INFJ? And this is of course a broad generalization, but in most cases this will be something that applies to most INFJs. So the first thing is it has to be something that is in alignment with our moral values. You will see very rarely INFJs having an occupation or a job or being an entrepreneur in a way that isn't in alignment with those moral values. I mean, it happens due to the fact that this is all we've been seeing, right? I mean, if you look outside and you look at movies, you look what a lot of those, let's say, visible successful people do in their life, it's always, okay, you gotta beat the other guy. There is no such thing as sleeping a lot. You know, you can sleep when you're dead. There's so many people who talk about how great it is to be a workaholic, and that everybody who's looking at it from a holistic point of view and who looks at it from a perspective of a win-win situation won't find it. That's how it looks like, as I said, if you look at, let's say, the rap world, right? It's always about how do I beat the other guy, how I'm better, flaunting all your stuff. And this is not the only way to do it. And now that I've been in this field for so long, I see it more and more. It's not just the INFJ world. There's so many other types that also look at this from a holistic point of view, but it's a little hidden. You have to spend more time online looking in that direction to find that they're everywhere. There are businesses that thrive on helping others while you help yourself. You don't have to neglect one or the other. It's not like I can make money or help people. It's not like I can't have a positive effect and be good to myself and create great value and create great abundance for me and for others. It's all possible. So the first thing is we need that moral value. The moral value is something you don't have to neglect. Stop thinking that in order to have a business, you have to give this up. Okay, this is the first thing. Second of all, it's our relationship with money. And this is a very difficult topic. I have an entire pillar on this in the bootcamp because us INFJs also don't feel like I can want money and be a good person. Wanting money is something for superficial people. It's not something that I want as part of my identity. And this is also what we've been taught. This is what you see in movies. The hero is very often somebody who has a great heart but isn't making any money. And then there's this bad guy or this bad lady who's all rich and stuff like this. So again, this is something that we've seen everywhere, but it's not something that you have to give up if you want to have an INFJ business. I want you to understand that money doesn't have any kind of negative or positive quality to it. Yes, there are a lot of people who use money for bad stuff, but trust me, I've seen it everywhere, and I'm part of that group that aims to make money and is making money and is creating amazing good value, not just, you know, for superficial reasons. Creating money, generating money, accumulating money gives you the opportunity to have more time to do what you want, and with that you can help others. It gives you access to a lot of ways how you can reach others. Just think about it. If you would have so much money that you could invest in advertisement so more people could find your message and can be helped through that. Let's not forget all the philanthropic possibilities that you can do and take on once money isn't an issue. So please take this into consideration consideration. Money is your friend. You can create whatever you want with this. This doesn't have to be a stigma of, okay, I'm an INFJ, I just have to accept that the way I approach life, it's best for me to live without money. I'm not saying that that's the wrong way to go. I'm sure there are people who are really happy with this. I'm just saying, if you're somebody who would actually wish to have more money, who would want to live a more abundant life, but you feel like you're betraying yourself because that's something that only superficial people do, then reconsider what you're telling yourself. It's totally okay that you've gotten to this way because this is how society has taught us, but it's not the new paradigm. It's not what is happening in the world. And specifically now with the internet giving us all the opportunities to bring out our natural gifts, you can see how we create entire new industries based on something that hasn't existed before. And that thing can be an amazing win-win situation for everybody involved. That being said, let's talk about the new. That's also something that is very important for us INFJs because we have NI as our first function, meaning we're all about vision. Most of the time, you want to do something that hasn't existed yet. It doesn't have to be something that is completely brand new, but there's always a way of how we approach it that gives it a very unique distinction. Every person is different, but we are very focused on that future, and most of the time, the way we want to do things is even more outside of the norm. I have found this not just for myself, but the people that I work with. It's always a part of ourselves that maybe people wouldn't expect. There's a strength there. There's something that is unique. It's the determination to say, I'm gonna go against the grain because this is what I believe in. This is what I want to share in the world. And if I start sharing this, I can create a positive ripple effect. So all of this is possible, and I wanted to make sure that this is hugely important to understand because when I started my business, there were people everywhere telling me, no, you have to do things in the way it has always been done. There's no way you can do something like this because I don't see anybody doing it like this. Well, guess what? I'm not the first person who does coaching, who does videos, and who does it in such a way how I do it. But for most people in my surrounding, at least, it was completely new. From their point of view, I had to see, okay, where's the demand? What do people want? And how can I cater to this? But in the end, you can only give what you can give. And if you want to be somebody who wants to have continuously success, especially as an INFJ, you have to make sure that you include all of those aspects we talked about before. The most important one being, you don't have to give up your values, you don't have to give up your beliefs, you don't have to adapt to society completely. Trust that your voice matters, that what you have to say brings value to somebody. Because guess what? The thing that you want to share with the world, and it doesn't matter what it is, if you want to be a freelancer in some kind of capacity, if you're an artist, a musician, an author, if you want to be an entrepreneur like me, whatever it is, the things you want to share with the world, you want to share because they're important to you. And why are they important to you? Because they make you feel better. What you share is your transformational journey, right? It can be through music, it can be through art, it can even be as a freelancer when you're being a teacher. It does not matter. The way you express yourself in the world, no matter what it is, as I said, it's not just vocally. It is a representation of what you have learned. It is a representation of how far you've come in this world. You want to share something because it inspires others to feel even more energetic, to feel more alive, to see the world from a different point of view. And you do that because there's already one person who has benefited from this, and that is you. You have created this in your mind because it made you feel better, because it added value to your mind and to your psyche. So if you are being helped with this, then there are going to be other people who will be helped by this. And the way you show up in the world, as I said, even if you would work in a bank or as a consultant, the way you show up, the way you talk, the way you express your values and you live them, that in itself is already adding value in your unique way, and you don't have to give this up. We have come far enough to say, I don't have to play by the old rules. I can make all of this happen. Okay, so you might say, well, I agree with all of this, great. I want to create income. I want to stay true to myself. I want to add value to others, and still, I haven't done the steps. I haven't taken any of them, and I've been thinking about starting my own thing for years, right? I want to share my voice. I want to share my experience. So why haven't I done it? Well, first off, please be kind to yourself, because 95% of all people, even more than that, never dare to take that step. It isn't something that is that easy. So as long as you keep telling yourself there's something wrong with you, why you haven't taken those steps, then you'll always self-sabotage and don't even get started. But if you tell yourself, well, it's totally okay that I haven't started yet. It's totally okay that I have fear, that there's anxiety involved, that I don't know if I'm going to be good enough, that people will judge me, that people will never want something what I have to give because it just isn't good enough. The fact that you thought like this or that you think like this, there is nothing to be ashamed of, and there's nothing you should bully yourself over. But now if you say, I want to change something, now I'm at a point where something has to change and I'm ready for that step, then the most important thing is not to focus on the goal entirely. So let's say you want to be an author and you have an idea about a book and you say, well, I want people to read that book. That's going to be amazing. People are going to love it, or that's your hope. And then you can quit your job and you could live in the countryside and be a writer and enjoy all of this. Most people, what they do is they focus on, okay, one day I'll be happy when people are reading my book and it is successful, and then I don't have to work anymore. If you focus on this, particularly as an INFJ, I can promise you in 99% of the cases, it won't motivate you enough, because you don't have any joy today. And if you don't have the joy today, then why should you do it? The price is too high to pay. And then you even tell yourself, well, what if it doesn't work out? So many people try it and they don't succeed. But the people who don't succeed are the people who give up in the process. If you say, I want to be an author, and then you create a book and most people don't like it, but some do, and then you continue and you write an even better book because you have the practice, you see how you can reach people better, it grows and it gets better and better. But the people who are able to do all of this, they're able to do that because they love writing. They're not in love with the fact that people one day will read my book, I will have success, I can quit my job. This is a byproduct. And it's not that you shouldn't want those things. Like, set those goals. It's important to have like those goals intact. But the thing that will get you motivated is the life you want to live. And you live that life starting today. This is particularly important for us INFJs because we live in our mind. The way we experience life is so important to us. So if you're not experiencing life the way it is right now as something beautiful, something amazing, something you want, you will not have the determination to continue. And I can tell you this from experience, not just for me, but also with the clients I work with. Once we get to a point where all of them feel excited about the next day, because you're a writer, so what do? You write. If you're a painter, you paint. That action in itself already makes you happy. And if we want to focus on this, if we want to focus on creating that joyful thing, the process in all of it, and not just be focused on the end result, we have to make sure that we feel secure. And this is something I go very much into detail in when we're in the boot camp or when I work with my clients, but I want you to understand this as well. If you're somebody who wants to start their own business, please don't give up the security you have right now. If you have a job that is making you feel secure of how to pay your rent, how to pay for your food, being able to have a certain lifestyle, then don't give this up until you've built something better. But here's the twist. You don't do your job thinking, that's all I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. You know that you're doing this as something that fuels your vocation. You know that this is the stepping stone to the next thing. Because your vision is about being that writer, enjoying the writing process, having everything that entails. Because your dream is not to have millions of books sold and then being able to quit your job, because that joy, it lasts a day. Once you hit that milestone, once you're able to quit your job, it's like, okay, we're at start point 0 again. What are you going to do all day? Those are the things to get excited about. And we can't expect ourselves to have joy and excitement about our new business right away all day long. Not if our life right now looks nothing like it, but we start adding to it. So if you want to be a writer, start writing on Saturdays. Make sure that by the end of the year, you have that book and you publish it. Make sure that you create that day that makes you excited. See, when I started this channel, I first off didn't think that I could make it a business. Back then, I didn't have the self-confidence I have now. And with self-confidence, I mean that I know that I'm keeping the promises I make to myself. Now that I've gone through the process, I know that it can be done. I know that because I've done it, and I don't think it's difficult. The only thing that is necessary is to keep on going, for your excitement and your wish and your dream to be bigger than your fear. Just a little bit. Because as I said, I didn't think that this was something I could actually, quit my job for and make it my main thing and do all of that. I thought maybe like in 10, 15 years. I never expected it to go so fast. But it happened because I didn't do it for that. I did it because I wanted to be a person who has this in their life. I wanted a fuller, richer life. I wanted that INFJ epic life. And that INFJ epic life was based on the fact that I'm aiming for more, that I was aiming to add value, that I was aiming to create a system and an environment where people feel safe and where I add value, and that value is being respected. And you can't wait for people to see what you have to offer and then you feel good enough. It is about you saying, okay, I'm going to step up, I'm going to do this, and I will take my self-confidence from the fact that I'm becoming that person. I am a person who writes every Saturday. I am somebody who wants a broader life. And I'm taking the steps today. And because I love that person, I want to be even more of that. I really hope that inspired you to take those steps. It's about those action steps. You don't have to compromise. Remember, if you want my help in this process, then work with me privately or join the Epic Life Bootcamp waiting list. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video on INFJ careers that make money. And yeah, tell me if you want more of these kinds of videos. Like always, guys, I wish you a wonderful day, a great week, and I talk to you next time.